Hey, hey, hey. Oh, that sun pierces straight into the soul. And when you're up here, when you're on the move, that's all it is pure soul. The ego is what happens when the soul is caged. But as soon as you release the soul from that cage back into its original context, the ego dissolves. And you're left with a halo, sanity and saintliness. I was just thinking there on the train, as you're apt to do, the train, like the bath for Pythagoras, is a vehicle of revelation. And so I was just thinking about being seated, the sedentary lifestyle that man has bought into. And the act of sitting down itself is a cage. Seating like transportation used to be a punishment, to be seated. Because to be seated meant that you were on your arse, you were cross-legged, you couldn't stand up, and you couldn't move because you were in a box, you were in a cage. And so to be seated was a form of torture. And man has become so used to this torture, transportation as well. If you were a criminal, you were punished by being transported to the colonies. And transportation itself was a carrier. And the carrier often killed you before you landed. And so the carrier now, the car, the carriage, the plane, the train and what have you, is so ingrained that man doesn't even think about it. But to be seated, the sedentary is a cage. And it's an ego amplifier. Because you've stopped moving, you've been arrested, you've been assaulted, and you've been caged. Hence man's mental ill health. But as soon as he gets the moving blood back, as soon as he gets back into that convivial context, the diverse, the true diverse, not just human beings, which is no diversity at all. A human being plus a human being is not diverse. A human being plus a blade of grass, however, and a rock is diverse. So, once you get into that convivial context, the ego disperses and the soul re-emerges.